if you're making a hex map, you can make it as simple as you want. In fact, you don't really need to do that much. The way I normally do it is that I open up Photoshop, because that's what I'm familiar with, and I have a hex grid, and I just put down one icon per hex, and that's kind of it. I don't really show it to anybody or do anything else with it. In fact, if you have a chess hex map, like the kind of one that I have here, you can use the back side of it to just draw a hex map on it. I've kind of already done that here on the other side. I'll show you that in a little bit. But you can keep them as simple as you want. If you're doing them at the table, your players' odds are they're not even going to be looking at the hex map, right? Because it's not like it's in their face. If you're playing online, it'll be on the big computer screen that is in front of everybody when they play. So maybe you want to make them look a little bit nicer. And I'm going to talk about that in this stream right here because I don't play online, but I am making a published module. And I've been working on it for the past, I think, 6 months with you folks here in chat, called Crown of the Fungal Queen, set around the small little country town of Dilhorn. And I have a hex map that I've been working on, and I've been working out of, that looks a little bit like this. And ideally, when we're done here, we'll be making it look a little bit more like this. I have kind of started a little bit on making a Dungeondraft version of it using the 2-minute tabletop rules. And if you're wondering how that thing works or where do you get those assets, there's a link in the description under further reading, and you can find both Dungeondraft and a tutorial from 2-minute tabletop on how to set up this stuff in Dungeondraft, including their brushes, which I think you can get for like $1 or $5. It's going to be great. I'm really excited about it. I wasn't sure if I could use it in the module last time we talked, but I reached out to them and they said that it was all right. So I went and I'm going to go make a Dungeondraft version of the hex map that we already have and going to put that into our adventure module because that would look nicer, and that's kind of the extent of it. Welcome to Mystic Arts. My name is Daði. I'm a professional writer and director, and I've been DMing for a little bit over a decade. I sat down when I started talking about this whole idea, and I was looking into this particular thing here. I sat down with my co-conspirator, my writing partner, Magnus, who's the lead designer on all the broadsheets and the lead designer on Fungal Queen. And we talked about maybe some possible changes we wanted to make to this original hex map, because we wanted to move stuff around a little bit in order to make the story kind of knit together a little bit nicer. So we went and grabbed a chess hex map, and that's this thing over here. I get these at my local game store. I'm sure you can buy them online. I don't really shop online because I live in Iceland, and shipping here costs a fortune. This is what it looks like. Is it mirrored? No, I don't think it's mirrored. You can see that's Dilhorn. You can see Gex tribe has moved this way, whereas in the image down here, the red scale tribe is all the way down there. But here on the big hex map, we moved it from, oh, I'm doing all of this in reverse. We moved it from here up here so that it's closer to town, because that's where we want the players to start. We did the whole map like this, the whole chess hex map. Look, good golly, why did I think this was a good idea? Look! Can you still hear me? Anyway, content. We took that map. It's already gone off the rails. We took that map, we wrote on it all the dungeons we wanted to put. Oh, I remember why I brought this out. This is upside down now. You see these red arrows? You can see Dilhorn's here. It's upside down now, but you'll have to, you can deal. Dilhorn's upside down here, and you got these arrows that lead into the old crypt and lead from there to Amberlane. Lead from Dilhorn across to the Gentle Grove, which is one of the Druid tribes, or Druid groves. What are those red arrows? Well, me and Magnus sat down and we were trying to figure out how to string the story hooks all together. Because obviously there's nothing wrong with putting down a town, telling the player characters, hey, there is treasure out in the forest, there are monsters out in the forest. If you want to play D&D, go into the forest. I think that works perfectly fine. But what we wanted to do is we liked the idea of there being sort of a network of plot hooks. The ones that, you go into town, you start doing stuff in town, and then while in town, you hear about 3 places. And when you go to one of those 3 places, you hear about other 3 places. And you can just, when I run hex crawls at my normal game, I don't really have an order in which I give them plot hooks. I just sort of tell them about the things that are nearby. And sometimes I tell them about things that are miles away. But because we're writing like a published module and we want DMs to sort of be able to wrap their head around it when they read it, we thought, what if we could make sure that if the players show up in one location, they could and go over to the next interesting location. And how do we do that? Well, we make sure that every location connects to other places. And then we hit upon the idea that, because we knew we were going to do pre-made characters, because the Crown of the Fungal Queen, we wanted to be kind of like a starter set with pre-made characters where you show up, and if you don't want to make a character, if you want to introduce someone new to the game, you can hand them a character sheet and they can just start playing. But then we thought, what if we take a little bit of inspiration from a campaign that he ran called Odyssey of the Dragon Lords, which we enjoyed the hell out of it. They had this thing called Epic Paths. Now, we weren't going to do Epic Paths, but we thought about what if on your pre-made character sheet, on the back, it said, level 2, get this ability when you're done doing a thing. So if you're playing a druid, which is one of the pre-mades as a druid, it says, to get to level 2, go to a druid grove. And then, when you go to a druid grove, when you arrive at the druid grove, they say, hey, here are all these quests you can do. And next on the character sheet, it says, level 3, join the druid grove. So you might ask the people in druid grove, can I do a quest? Can I, how do I join you guys? And they say, well, we're not really taking on new members right now. But if you help us with these things, then you can come join our druid grove, right? So we figured, what if we just sort of tie the characters into the adventure? And then if you don't want to use the premates, we'll put a page up front that says, here is what the arc is, here's how these things connect. If you want to make your own characters, you can either pick these archetypes that replace the player characters. So instead of the fighter, you are the investigator or something like that. That way these things all connect. And that's sort of what we were thinking. Now, if you're watching the VOD, I'll put a little thing which you could skip to when I actually get started. But in the interim, I like to catch up with chat. And I've already blabbed for 10 minutes or something without saying hi. So, hi everybody. How you doing? How are you doing? Yay, Dungeondraft. Yeah. We'll be using Dungeondraft. I've never used it before, except insofar as to do this. This is literally all I've ever done in Dungeondraft. It's sort of an outline of the forest, a little. We got the eastern ashwood and the western ashwood here on either side, and then we have a little town in the middle. Now, the thing I keep messing up, and you're probably going to watch me do several times, is I'm going to try and zoom out, and I'm just going to rotate this tile. That's because in Incarnate, which I'm more familiar with, scrolling zooms and controlled scrolling rotates, but this software decided to do the other way around, specifically to spite me, I think. Mitchell Freeman, thank you so much. Thank you for the gifted subs. No, gifted memberships. Yes, we are not on Twitch. Sacred Grunty says 3D printed ruined Chessex maps. I don't know how. We can 3D print and we still use Chessex maps all the time. In fact, we don't really print terrain. Marigin asks, this is meant to be genuine and not snarky. How much are you still playing D&D? I play D&D a lot. I play D&D, I'm playing D&D twice this week, twice the week after that, and 3 times the week after that. So, a lot. It is the game I play the most, and we really like 5th edition, we really like D&D at my table, and we have a lot of fun. When do you announce the Mayhem winners? We're going to announce them this stream. Not just yet, but we will announce the Mayhem winners in this stream. But if you're a member of our Discord, you already know who won. In fact, if you're on the Discord, not only can you see who's won, But you could see that people who haven't won, who are part of the Discord, are all sharing their dungeons. We got 119 submissions in total. Last stream I said it was 200 and something. That is the total amount of files. We got 259 separate files sent to us. But the mods, the Mystic Arts mods, took all of those different files. Oh, look, I've got Chessex smear, map smear, right here. They took all of those files, they sorted them into different dungeons, and then we looked over every single application, and we picked out of it 5 winners based largely on how they connected to the story that we were telling, to the adventure we were writing, and to the sort of core storytelling in it. Many of the dungeons were really, really good. Almost all of them were really, really good. But some of them, just a much smaller number, managed to get this kind of instant storytelling going on, where you walk into the dungeon, you quickly learn what's happening, and then you quickly get to resolve it. That was a subset of the submissions. They managed to land that sort of thing, and lots of people did. It was really impressive to see. But once we'd figured out who'd gotten that idea down, it was the real challenge was finding out which of those submissions managed to take that and connect it to everything else that was going on in the adventure. And in particular, not repeat elements of the adventure. There were lots of people that probably would have been in contenders or maybe even won, but they used elements that we'd already used, like they turned the Naiad's Rest into a Druid Grove or something like that, and we already have 2 Druid Groves, so we had to sort of pick based on what we really wanted to work with, what we really wanted to get art of, and what really fit with Fungal Queen. And I think we got some incredible winners out of it, but man, it was difficult to pick. It was really difficult. I shared my dungeon in there, says Chrissy 2198. Yeah, I could go have a little look, and I could tell you how many people are already sharing their dungeons in the Dungeon Mayhem forum on the Discord. Is there a way to see posts in a thread? There might be. There might be. I don't know. Scroll. There's a bunch. I don't know. 30 or 40 submissions are already in there. So if you want to see what everybody's made, be amazed at the kind of stuff that folks made, and didn't, even the ones who didn't win, they made incredible things. If you want to go have a look at that, come by our Discord. There is a link to our Patreon in the description, or you can join our memberships. People who are members or patrons get access to our Discord, and that lets us keep moderation a little bit easier than it would be otherwise. If you click on the post inside, there will be comments with more details, pictures. Yeah. If you click, and people are talking about their sometimes they're giving feedback, but mostly it's just gushing. It's kind of incredible. So this is Dungeon Mayhem. Right? Everybody's making dungeons, and in a couple of more weeks, it's going to be Dungeon Jam, where all your favorite creators will be posting dungeons, and I can't wait to see it. Some incredible videos are lined up for that, and some incredible creators who are also incredible designers. Some of them professionally, some of them just really cook once a year, so it'll be awesome. Tyler Wolf, I'm not your dad. That's not my name. I'm Daði. You'll get it one day. I wanted to show you folks some things. Hang on. Which do I start with? Which do you want to see first, minis or books? The what? Yeah, send me the sun. Yeah. AB drew a sun. It's gonna go into the module. It's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. She did like a postcard in the style of a medieval painting. Books. Okay. I got an email. This segment is not sponsored. Nobody paid me to say this, but I did get these books for free. I got an email from an RPG company called CubiIcle 7, and they just launched, I think fairly recently, a new game called Laundry, the laundry. I think this is based off of a book series or a TV show or something. I'm not familiar. This is I think they're like satirical, a parody of something. I'm not familiar with what this is. Employee of the month. Official Secrets Act. I think it's very British, all of it. It exudes Britishness. I don't know exactly what it is. Love their work. Awesome. Some people are familiar with this. These are like classified files. I'm gonna have a proper look into this. Look at that inside cover. Ain't that gorgeous? I'm gonna have a proper look at this at some point, and if it passes the vibes test, we'll play it. And they sent me this. They sent me a 5e book. A 5e book that I thought was quite interesting, but I'm not sure I recommend the mechanics of it. They're a little bit weird for my taste. It's called Broken Weave. The vibes are exquisite. Lovely art in here. Excellent. But when I was looking through the mechanics, they all threw me off a little bit. And I'm not sure it's for me, or that I'd recommend it. But what I thought was amazing. So there's this laundry. It's funny. I think it'd be right up my alley. Chapter 1, Life in the Laundry. I think it's like what is like Loki or something, like bureaucratic, existential British spy com mixed with Cthulhu stuff. Yeah, looks dope. Haven't read it, haven't tried it. Looks dope. But the thing that they sent me that I did immediately flip through, because I am a predictable person. I didn't know this existed. Doctor Who. For years, I have wanted to make a Doctor Who video game, not an RPG, video game. And I have a hell of a pitch for it, but I'm going to have to keep that to myself in case I ever get to do it. But I think the key to a Doctor Who video game is treating it like a Metroid game. Not roguelike, just Metroid. Look, this is fascinating to me. I've never, in person, seen an RPG book with just screenshots from a TV show. I know it's a whole thing. I know Matt Colville worked on Star Trek The Next Generation role-playing game, and it was the same deal there. So these are just like promotional pictures. That's just Jodie Whittaker, like some promotional picture. I don't think you people know how much of a Doctor Who fan I am. I'd be shocked if anyone actually understood. But there we go. Look at that. David, 10 ants. 10 ants right here. Yeah, do you play as the Doctor? I don't know. Travelers in the Fourth Dimension. Clara! Look at that. You're not going to get to see this. Can you guess who my favorite Doctor is? I don't know. First person to say my favorite Doctor gets a cookie. I can't actually send you a cookie. Did I mention the shipping costs? They're insane. Tennant's my Doctor, says Sacred Grunty. I love Tennant. David Tennant might be one of my favorite actors ever. But not my Doctor. Not my Doctor. Love all his episodes. Like, no shade. Sidma Kluma. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sacred Grunty. Yeah. Peter Capaldi. Love me some P-Cap. That dude can cuss in a way that makes it art. Sadly not on Doctor Who, but if you watch the thick of it, you'll get plenty of that. He was also amazing in Torchwood, in the Children of Men. No? Children of Earth. Look at that. I flipped through this. I think it kind of has to be, but it's very story focused. It might not be to my taste, but I do find it just gorgeous to look at. Unprotected time travel maneuvers. What's weird is that I know enough Doctor Who lore that when I'm reading this, I'm kind of just like, oh, I'm reading Doctor Who lore. Like I'm kind of surprised by how much of it is just Doctor Who lore. I don't know what I expected it to be, but there it is. So at some point, I'm gonna have to sink my teeth into this and figure out how it works. But I think basically the adventures here are written to be like to simulate a TV show. So unlike D&D, it's kind of where D&D is like a game about killing monsters. The Doctor Who game is kind of more story game. It's not about killing monsters. It's about creating an episode of Doctor Who. What is the book's name? Doctor Who, the role-playing game, 2nd edition. I think the 1st edition had Tennant on the cover. I mean, I'm not going to be, go Tennant, go Jodie, but why isn't there a Doctor Who with Peter Capaldi on the cover? How much of black art is inspired by Doctor Who? That's a good question, Jay looks. I think a lot of my Anglophilia, my love of England in popular media, asterisk, comes from Doctor Who. And, I watched a lot of English television shows. I grew up with Sky, the satellite. So I'd watch, I grew up with English commercials. And for a long period in my time, when I spoke English, I had a British accent, oddly enough. But, I'm Icelandic. How my English accent sounds is something I have to choose. I don't Anglophile. Yes, that is what I am. But I went when I was, I think it was 2022. I went abroad and I went on a whim on a trip to England and spent all my savings and went into debt because I wanted to go to England by myself with a backpack and just go look at castles, and I had a great time. Sinister Gnome says, if I understand correctly, there are different playstyles in the Doctor Who book, depending on whether or not you have someone playing the Doctor. That's really cool. But yeah, I went to the UK. I went and just looked at castles. I had a great time. And then me and AB went when we went to UKGE last year. And I was just sort of going, look, here's this and here's that, and acting like a tour guide, even though I'd only been there once by myself. It's also meant to be episodic, the Doctor Who game. That's cool. Here, look at this sun AB drew. Is this not the best thing in the universe? We're going to put this in the adventure. Somewhere. Look at it. It's gorgeous. I love it. Best thing. Best thing in the world. I also promised minis. There's a place in my Hexcrawl, not the one we're working on tonight, but in my campaign, my home game, called Buck Tussle. Because I love funny names. In case you didn't notice when I talked about Dillhorn. But in Buck Tussle, it's locked away in the middle of the forest, and one of the few things that we know about it is that they are constantly attacked by the monsters in the forest, and they have an expert gunsmith in town. And I went to look for minis. And I went to look for minis a bunch. I actually have spent quite a long time looking for minis that are Atroxia specific, and there was a thread in the Discord about this some time ago. And these are the Cities of Sigmar. I don't know what they're called more than that. Hang on. I may have to leave the frame so the autofocus doesn't look too much of me. But here, look at this lad. Look, he's like wearing heavy armor. And he's got a three-barreled gun at the front. He's got this massive banner and a huge pike on it. And it's all like attached into a shield. So the shield's got a little hole in it, and that's where he sticks the gun. with three-pronged gun, like three-barreled, and he can shoot, and then he can rotate and shoot, and then if someone comes too close, they can bayonet them. These are amazing. I went to UKG, I found the Warhammer booth there, and bought a box, because I hadn't seen them here in Iceland. And I came home and I went, Eva, look what I got. And he was like, they just had these at the local game store here. And he had already gotten a box, so we now have an obscene amount of these. And I was like, oh, but I also bought some other stuff. And he's like, I already bought all that. We love the same kind of minis. It's me and my flatmate, who Avi and I rent with. You know. I think YouTube pays well. We're still flat sharing. We're still Gen Z flat sharers. This one is a giant. Look, hang on. Don't look at my hand. Look at the man. Big giant. But what in the crow's nest of the giant? There's a guy with a gun. Look at that. He's got a big shield, and he's got a guy up there. Then finally, this one I got. It's a chunky cannon with a little crew and a barricade. I assume Ivar's going to be painting these very soon, and they will show up in videos when I talk about Atroxia in the future. Have you seen the new tower mini? Yes, Horned Rat. The one, there's like a tower. There are dudes in it, and it's got cannons sticking out, and it's got legs, and clunk, 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 walks around. I'm going to get that. I'm going to put that on the map, and all of my players are going to freak out. They're going to freak out. And it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Hang on, I'm live at the same time as Ryan DM. Hello, Ryan. How you doing? That's fun. Anyway, those are the minis I wanted to show you. Those are the books. Those are the minis. I've talked to you about the Chessex hex map. And I've explained to you why this is not going to cut it. We are going to want something slightly fancier because it's going to go into our little published module. Actually, no, the dungeon winners. Yes, if you're watching and you're not already in the Discord, you might not know who's won, but the winners know. We've reached out to them. We already said hi, and they got their gifted memberships, and we talked to them about what kind of art we're gonna do, and we gave them notes on what we're gonna edit. Because for all of these, we want them to kind of, not only do they need to all kind of read the same, they need to kind of look like the same kind of writing. So there's going to be an edit pass on them. But also we had story notes. As I've said before on the channel, I am an opinionated know-it-all, which means I always feel like I want to noodle and everything. So we had a handful of story notes for them about things we were going to change, mostly sort of moving stuff from A to B, or trimming things a little bit, or expanding a certain topic a little bit, or finding a way to tie it more into the adventure. Those were the kind of notes everybody got, and everybody got one of them. The library was won by Felicio PG. He created a, his submission was a library that came from outer space, like a spelljammer, landed in the middle of the forest, and inside there is a sort of Don Quixote pastiche called, there's a construct in here called El Manchego, which is a kind of cheese from La Mancha. Love it. And the original owner of the library had been turned into a mouse. Brilliant concept. We're gonna get art of El Manchego, the construct. We're gonna we're going to get that arted out. The winning submission for Grimroot was by Duncan M, in which there is a huge tree that like has thorns that eat life force, and the wyvern. There was a wyvern. I forgot to mention. There's a wyvern that's gotten stuck in the tree, and there are ways you can like burn down the tree or attack and kill the wyvern and the tree. But if you want, you can sort of play through the adventure to set the wyvern free so that it can fly off. You don't need to fight the wyvern if you don't want to. Why should you? Wyverns are scary. They're CR6. And you're probably just 2nd or 3rd, maybe 4th level. The Brewing Cabin was won by Andrew Boudry. Boudry? Also goes by Abuji on Discord. Abuje. I'm sorry. Abuje. Brilliant dungeon was the Brewing Cabin. It kind of felt like a Skyrim or a Fallout dungeon. It was sort of a self-contained story of everything going on here by this bandit crew who was kind of perpetually drunk. Loved it. We're going to make sure that those guys are a little infected with mushrooms, and we might change their drunkenness condition that they all have to be a result of the mushroom infestation. Just because we thought like the Brewing Cabin is so like on the edge of the swamp. Hang on, I can get a picture of that. It's like right here. And we thought maybe this is the first kind of entry into the swamp. And then who else won? Naiad's Rest was won by Johan Goldhart. That was the submission was a dwarf woman, if I remember correctly, that died here, and there is a ghost of the dwarf woman who wants to get laid to rest. And each of the 5 rooms in that 5-room dungeon is ways you can soothe the ghost and lay her to rest. And we wanted to change it to a Naiad, because here on stream we decided to call it Naiad's Rest, and then I spelled it incorrectly. I've decided to blame chat and say that chat spelled it incorrectly, but I think it's actually more likely that I just spelled it wrong. And so we're going to change it to a Naiad that died, and then you can lay the Naiad's ghost to rest. And again, that's sort of one whole story, same with the Brewing Cabin and their kind of connection to Grimroot and the Wyvern. And finally, there was The Abandoned Mine, won by Colin Farnsworth, which featured a Minotaur in the mines, wandering around down there, kind of infected by the mushrooms. And there were like these mushroom caches that the Minotaur could push you into. And it's also a Minotaur in the mines. The mines are a labyrinth, so the sort of self-reflection narrative of that we thought was brilliant. But the thing that actually made us fall in love with that one was the idea that to get into the mines, there is a minecart, and the minecart's like full of loot or something. And it's on rails that go down into the minecart. But as soon as you touch it, it's adhesive because it's a mimic. So you touch the minecart, you stick to it, and then the mimic minecart goes down into the mines, and now one party member is attached to a minecart that's blasting through these mines, while the rest of the party has to go chase. And we thought that was just hilarious. So we're absolutely going to do that. Samuel Crochill, and they're drinking. What if their drinking is the only thing that's keeping the mushrooms from fully taking over? That's a good idea. I should text that to Magnus, see what he thinks. Magnus is going to be doing an editing pass on all of these. I think he's excellent. Whenever he takes an editing pass on anything I do, it becomes better. So I'm very glad to get to extend that privilege to everybody who took part. And yeah, sometime in June, we're going to take a one-on-one with each of those folks. We're going to get art of all of them, and we're going to go lay them out, and they'll get credited in the module. Because that they deserve that. That was an amazing dungeon they made, and they managed to win out. Even though it was really hard to pick, everybody put in really good submissions. Sacred Country, I remember that not a mimic encounter. I thought that was really funny. The a lonely treasure chest in a well-lit and suspiciously unbothered area. I thought that was a really good idea. We might try and put that into in the final dungeon or something like that. Fantastic idea. Now let's go make a hex map. Hang on. I can't make a hex map. I'm Daði from Mystic Arts. Right, because I do this bit.
Daði the Dungeon Guy.
Daði the Dungeon Guy.
Daði the Dungeon Guy.
Subscribe to D&D rules.
Daði the Dungeon Guy.
Welcome back to Smash.
Clearly
Pass.
agile, sneaky, intelligent, powerful. I'm on the bed already.
T-minus 5 seconds.
Daði the Dungeon Guy.
Here is Dungeondraft. And these hex brushes are made by 2 Minute Tabletop. They do way more than hex brushes. They do countless of these things. Go check out their Patreon. I'll put a link to that in the description. Not right now, because we just went live and I forgot to do it. But there's a link going to be in the description for anybody who wants to go check out the 2 Minute Tabletop Patreon. Or you can go to their website and buy all these. I ended up buying... They're all in one pack, in case I wanted to use it for whatever. Ducks. What is going on? This was Daði the Dungeon Guy. So, here is the forest, and I've laid out the Chessex map with the adjustments me and Magnus made. We sort of moved stuff around a little bit. And then I'm going to open this map, and I'm going to put it on my second monitor, hopefully in such a way that I can still see you folks. And really, then I'm just going to get to work. This is going to be fairly tedious to watch, I assume. So, if you want to make it interesting, go ask some fun questions, and we will talk about the stuff. So go ahead and shoot your questions in chat, and I'll try my best to answer them as I go through and slap a bunch of brushes on here. Have you ever gotten your own theme tune stuck in your head? Or is that just something cringy and embarrassing that I do? Nobody else relates to. Best Cyberman story. Ooh. It's gotta be the, it's not called Genesis of the Cybermen. The, my favorite one's gotta be the one where, it's Peter Cabaldi's last two-parter. It's called, wow. You know, I'm normally really good at naming the exact episode. The World Enough and Time and Dr. Falls. Those are the final two episodes in Peter Cabaldi's story. It's got Bill as the companion, and it's got an excellent twist in there about the Cybermen that I just spoiled by answering that question. So I apologize. There are more twists in it, and I'm not going to spoil them. Go watch Doctor Who. Season 10, really good. Yes, with a black hole. Exactly. It's a ship. There's a black hole. This is the premise. This is not a spoiler. Ship, black hole, and the ship is heading into the black hole. So there's time dilation. The level at the top is moving slow, but the level at the bottom is moving fast. Or if you're at the bottom and you look at the top, it looks like it's in slow motion. And weeks and months go by while 1 second goes by upstairs. What I'm doing right now here in the software is I'm just going to put this brush kind of everywhere. And then I'm just going to layer on top. But I need to kind of get the shape where it is so that I understand what I'm doing. If you can believe that. I'm not going to have it be that thick of the mixed brush. I'm thinking we just sort of layer them. My favorite Cyberman story is the one where he's a Roman. Is that a Cyberman story? Is Rory... Because the Rory and Amy are never in a full Cyberman episode. There is A Good Man Goes to War, and it sort of starts off with like a mini episode of Rory as the last centurion sending a message from the Doctor and a question from him. But that's not really like a Cyberman story. It's just like a few minutes in the start of the episode. It's really cool though. Capaldi got awesome episodes. Yeah, there was this discourse about Capaldi online that like you know, love the actor, hate the stories or something like that was the sort of common hot take I saw. I thought that was just garbage. I don't people gave Moffat a lot of hate that he did not deserve for his writing. Because when you look at the list of the best Doctor Who episodes, like if you look at the list of top 30, at least 15 of them are Moffat episodes. So this here is supposed to be a swamp tile. So we probably want to kind of slowly fade between these. Rory is the plastic creatures from Rose. Correct. He's an Auton. Spoilers. You can't really talk about Doctor Who without talking about some of this stuff. But hopefully, if you haven't seen any of this, and I'm saying some nonsense, you're going to forget it by the time you watch those episodes. Even if you have my special brand of autism that remembers Doctor Who facts, you haven't gotten it yet because you haven't watched Doctor Who. So you'll get it later when you watch Doctor Who. That is a Mystic Arts guarantee. Hang on, should we... So the thing with I'm using the conifers. Now I'm questioning everything. I'm using the conifers because in a lot of art, Brimmer, our artist, has drawn these kind of conifers. And now I'm suddenly wondering if I'm actually, if I'm going to fade them over to these kind of bushy trees. But I kind of don't like that idea because they're going to look too green next to the swamp. Let's delete everything. Everything except the outline. That's what we're going to do. I think a lot of people diss Moffat mostly because they didn't like the River Song stuff in season 6 in particular. And, you know, I'm not a big fan of season 6. I'd put that as one of the worst. Series 6, sorry. Doctor Who fans get persnickety about it. It's Series 6. I'd put that down as one of the worst series of the new show. Now, sadly, I haven't watched that much of the old show, so when I said I was a Doctor Who fan, and if you want to call me a fake fan because I mostly watched the new show, I understand. I won't blame you. I've watched a bit of Hartnell, like his first several stories, and then sort of select bits of Baker, I think. The first Baker. Ancient Minds sound really good. Yeah, they were all really good. Some of the folks had done incredible layout. I'm not going to name check any of them because I will then forget some of them and then get in trouble. But some of the folks had done kind of OSR style, like the center spread, like a trifold, and then the center spread is like a dungeon map, and then all the keys are along the side of this sort of big map in the middle. They looked really cool. There was one that had like a vertical cut. So there was the library, and it had a vertical cut. And each of the floors was laid out. And it was indeed only 650 words, which is what I said it had to be. But we would have had to either use one completely different layout for that one dungeon, which I think would have just been jarring if you'd been flipping through and you'd gotten to this completely different thing. And either you would have wished everything was in that, or you would have wished this wasn't in that, or you would have appreciated all the dungeons being different, but just one being different I think would have been odd. But it was a neat premise. It was a bunch of runes that you could sort of, if you touch them, magic would happen. Is it going to look boring if it's mostly the same hex? Well, will it be mostly? So at most, it's going to be like 3 hexes deep. Like here, it's going to be about 3 hexes deep. And then we're going to get the Gentle Grove. And then it's going to be like around it. Alright, I'm going to listen to what I said earlier and just do the forest brushes, because otherwise I will not see the forest for the trees. That's a little clever witticism there. How long has this stream been going? About 45 minutes. According to my quick maths. Does anybody know if there's a way to like fill all of this? Oh, scene transition. Here we go. Thank you, Cyrillax. We did a huge Doctor Who rewatch in time for the 60th anniversary. And because David Tennant and Catherine Tate was coming back. And there was a good lot of episodes. The middle one especially was really good. The finale of The Giggle was it was a little bit of a letdown from my perspective, if I'm being perfectly honest. Maybe I'm old and bitter, but I was not a fan of the way that the 14th Doctor regenerated. I'll avoid saying anything more in case you're just a little behind on Doctor Who. And I haven't seen the newest season. I haven't, because we started Mystic Artsing, and I never got around to it. I've been so busy ever since, because right now it's 9 o'clock. It's nearly 30 minutes to 10 in the evening here. And I'm working. I love it. Wouldn't do anything else. I woke up today, immediately started working on Fungal Queen. I had a great time. Sent Magnus a text message telling him how much fun I was having. Hang on, is this not too big? I think I made it too big. Like, if you compare this to this map we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12. It is way too big. This is massive. Alright. Guess what it's time for? It's delete everything time again. Yeah, Bernard Cribbins it was so lovely to see him. Hey, Crim. See you, Valdemar. You know, I didn't eat enough before streaming, and I think my blood sugar is crashing. I have a tenuous relationship with food. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, so let me just count this out. This is gonna be a little boring. Hang on, I need to be able to see chat. Yeah, Dungeondraft is great. It's a one-time purchase. That's correct. Daði the hungry guy. That's funny. No, the thing is, I don't really get hungry. I just get dizzy. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then this one's straight down. Then 1. And then straight down. Then 1. Obviously, you can't see what I'm comparing it to, but just trust me, the vibes are good, okay? After the streaming is done, I'm going to go on a call with the guy from, I don't know if his name is public yet, but the guy from Tabletop University. If you've not seen his videos, they are amazing. I think he's only done like 5. Dude came out of the door swinging with some quality stuff, and he's getting crazy views. And I assume he is kind of going through a feeling that I would be familiar with, which is sort of existential, what is my life now feeling? Because suddenly YouTube comes along and sort of changes. Nope, never mind. I thought I had a revelation. YouTube sort of comes along and changes everything about what you're doing and your assumptions about what you can do. And we're going to get on a call and we're going to talk some numbers, I think. I'm really excited about that. Really cool dude. Makes cool videos. 1, 2... So, up, divot, down, diagonally like this. There we go. Is there a way in Dungeondraft to make player-friendly maps? Is this map not player-friendly? Not trying to be snide. I'm trying to understand the nature of your question. Yeah, these are this side's way too big. Delete. See, when you're making stuff, and you get too precious about it, and you don't want to delete things, even though you messed up, you end up finding yourself in a position where you're just sort of held hostage by yourself. And the great thing about being held hostage by yourself is that you can defeat yourself. You can take that part of your brain that's destroying everything and making everything difficult, and kick him in the bum, send him into outer space, and carry on with your life. Doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. 3 across, 3 across. Up. Up. There we go. Well, I'm glad I fixed this, because that was about to break everything. How would you go about mapping a world of mostly floating islands with different height levels? I don't know. Alright, that's the shape of it. Yeah, somebody says, Sojourner says that we should measure out the landmarks first. That might be smart. Mountains? I don't know about mountains. We're not going to worry about mountains right now. We are going to have to worry about dungeons. So I know... These 3 down, I know that he... Is that right? Yeah, that's right. So that's where Amber Lane Tower, the Tower of Amber Lane is. Well, I can measure out the landmarks first because I am moving some of them. I'm going to delete these as well. Put some of these sort of thinner ones. The use case for the map is for the Fungal Queen adventure that we've been writing together, you and me, here on the stream.
Love it.
Yeah.
Anna is almost caught up to me in Slay the Spire.
She's playing that game so much.
It's 96 hours. I have 110.
You ruined everything for her. You took away all her free time.
Anna, if you're watching, you're welcome.
Oh, here's a farm one. We can use that for Rat Home. Rat Home, the home of the rats. Hang on, let's do Moonstone Grove first. So the thing with some of this is that I don't have a good icon for all of them. But I could just take these icon little brushes. Daði. Just stick them on there. Will that look goofy? Maybe. But am I prepared to be goofy? Definitely. Anyway, so 1, 2, 3. Here is going to be Moonstone Grove. Here is going to be the Rot Wall, and here is going to be Rat Home. And this should be the logging site. So there was like a lumber mill icon. We're going to move it kind of up. Yep. Yep. He said it was fine for the adventure. Player-friendly a map be a hex crawl where the players can't see every detail in distant Texas? Yes. Oh, so like another version of this map, maybe. As in no spoilers. Yeah, that makes sense. We can do that afterwards. We can just take this, put this into Photoshop, and put a little cloud over the thing. How do you think your career in games helped creating your channel on D&D? Well, my career in games actually, it's the other way around. My career in games comes from me playing D&D. I applied for a job, and I said I have a campaign setting with 180,000 words in a Word doc. I would like to do this professionally, please. And oddly enough, this game studio went, sure, come over. Now, they were just a startup. They didn't have any money or any idea what they were doing. But I didn't know that. I was a fool, just like them. And the guy who did the interview ended up being one of my best friends. And he is called Magnus. He works on all of these things. But then since doing game dev, I've also gotten, I think, a better sense of game design and the purpose of game design. In particular, like trying to get to a point where we are having fun. The reason we're bothering with any of this is because we'd like to have fun. And sometimes we forget that. We get so lost in like, you know, the lore, the verisimilitude, or all those things. And those things are all hugely important. But they're also not why we're doing it. Doing it to have fun. So let's put a little house here for the hag's house. Let's send this to back so the house comes on top. And then let's do a little skull here for the orcs. Because I've got this auto-ordering thing on. So it's hiding these icons, which is real annoying. And I'm certain there was a way to deal with this if I knew what was going on. The Milliam Daði, what is your stance on the debate of planned encounters versus random encounters? I always thought random encounters are the ones are mostly a waste of time. I disagree. I think every tool has its place. And if you go watch the VOD of the last stream, or watch our video on random encounters, you will hear me make an argument for that. Is the games job market better in Iceland then? No. It was like when I started, it was 2018, and then it was a booming industry, and Epic Games was just making money hand over fist and trying its best to spend it all. And that was a good time to be in game dev. By the time our game released, that was no longer the case, and it was then a bad time to be in game dev. So it's a scary market, and there really isn't anything ordinary Josephs like you and I can do about it. Oh, hang on, now the skull's on top. Will I ever understand what I'm doing? No. Yeah, all right then. I'm just browsing brushes, that's what I'm doing. I hope you folks are having fun. Dabe? I'm not Dabe. How do you make a space map pretty? I don't know. Is the hex grid a mod for Dungeondraft? There's a link in the description for how to put this mod together. Oh, like use layer 200. So the thing is, in order to do this, I've got this order by Y position mod on. Now maybe if I turn it off, I can put the house down. But my question is, if I turn it then back on... Okay, that worked. Cool. More object, please. So let's do a few more of these. I know there's one here and here. And I know there's like a fairy spring. So there are like full ocean tiles, but I'm wondering, is there just like a little lake? Because there's swampy ones. And I don't think that's the fairy spring. I don't think it's a big swamp. Oh, here it is. Okay, so stand by. Ooh, what if I just put different trees in that one? See, the house went down again, and now the skulls vanished again. So, yeah, I don't know if this is gonna work. Here, there's also the giant's corpse up here. Maybe that's what I should use the skull for. The red rocks are down here. See, it's swapped immediately. And then there's the logging site, fairy spring, middle rot, red rot. Okay, I think those are the things we want. Super gift. Hi, I'm designing my own D&D style game. In your opinion, what would you like to see in a new game? I don't... So... I think that question's too broad, reversation. I think that's sort of going... I'm gonna make you a meal. Which salt should I use, or which spice should I use? Depends on the meal. Depends on the game you want to make. And the game you want to make has to be yours. It has to be the thing that makes you excited. What can you put in your game that's going to get you to sit down and write 100,000 words, or however big your game is, right? You're going to need to get back to it and love it every single time. And we talked a little bit at the start of this stream about the pre-made characters that we're going to make for this adventure module, Crown of the Fungal Queen, and the reason they're there is because they got us excited. We could show off keystone leveling while we're showing off hexploration, firearms, dungeoneering, all the rules that we made here on the channel. We could take all those things and show them off at the same time. We could add keystone leveling to it. That got us really excited. That got us, thinking about what it is we're doing and how we want to do it. And then every time I sit down to write, I'm like, oh, remember, it's gonna tie into this character's thing. That's gonna be fun. You gotta find that spark. And that's what you make your game around. Not what some random YouTube idiot has to say about it. My opinion doesn't matter for your game. It matters for my game. Your opinion matters for your game. I can't help you. Correct answer to both is coarse grained salt. That's fun. See, I put things down, and because of the auto ordering mod, it sort of forks everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop putting down the icons for the places, knowing that I'm going to put them down later, right? I'm just not going to worry about it right now. They will make sense in the end. Hang on. There we go. And there we go. Suddenly had a message I had to attend to. So let's see. Bit where it goes. Zigzag. Here does it go up 3? So conifers up 3, up 1 more. And then it's swamp time. Time for stanky swamp. Which brush should we use for it? This one? It's kind of the edge of the swamp. Then, not here. Oh, is it really that far? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, okay. And then here it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is it too thin now? I think it might be. I'm not going to delete everything again. I know I gave a whole speech about it earlier, but a part of this is going to be adapting it. And that's just how it is. There we go. Looking very boggy. Good old soggy boggy. Trying to look very repetitious. When designing a hexcrawl, do you use any world-building procedures to get you started, like in Mythic Bastionland? No, we started designing this hexcrawl together here, and we just sort of started. I mean, we thought about it. I found a place on my world map, if that counts. I was like, it takes place here, but that world map wasn't a hexcrawl. Like it was just a world map. We decided it took place there, and then we started asking ourselves, what's in here? And I know there are games that use those kind of things, like Mythic Bastion Land, which I have a copy of and will eventually play. But also, a part of the fun for me is not knowing what I'm doing and getting the privilege of finding it out. You know? That's just one of the things that make it fun. I'm going to delete this one. Here's where I'm going to put the new Cobalt Ruins. They're going to go all the way up there. Also something called the Old Crypt. We're going to have to figure that one out. If there is a suitable thing for it. Although I did say I wasn't going to be looking at the brushes. These are 3-mile hexes, yeah. Yeah. So many lovely town brushes, and I'm just not using any of them. Can I, for the Gentle Grove, what if I just have like wildly out of place trees? Yeah, so the Gentle Grove is going to be all the way up here. You know, I go like that. The nature of the forest changes at the Druid Grove. Oh, I'm going to want to move that crypt down a bit. And then back to these conifers. Oh god. Ah, my muscle memory. It's too strong. Have you tried compact hexcrawls like Mesrider? No, I haven't tried hexcrawling Mesrider yet. We only played like a 30-minute session. I need more Azer minis for tonight. Oh, I wish I had a recommendation. Let's go grab our old friend, the vaguely not that much stuff in it brush. And we'll prepare to create all our locations based off of that. There is a sort of hill section on the old hex map that we should try and utilize here. And then we can move the crypt sort of closer to it. No, I think I still want it here. Though I think if I wanted to do a player version of this, doing it online with just FOV might be the best way to do it. You know, Fog of War. Hey, Worldographer, nothing wrong with Worldographer. I would have used it too if I wasn't specifically going to make something that I wanted to look pretty for publication. That is the main reason this is what I'm using. The number one reason. Now, there is an abandoned village, so we're going to use our village brush for that. Oh, look, they're like individual. Those are cool. Yeah, so we're just going to do like a base coat here, basically. Built rivers. Night's Rest there. Abandoned Village goes here. Abandoned Mine. We're going to put that into like a big hill. Big hill. You know, there's nothing wrong. So I'm thinking, oh, I wish we had mountains in this. But there's nothing wrong with us adding a little peak. Valentine, go check the description for Dungeondraft and this particular brush. What was I doing? Peak. That's right. Peak, 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 peak. AB, what's the music in Peak? The music in Peak. The Peak music. Yeah, the Peak music. The one in all the Instagrams.
Oh, the Kanye song?
Is that a Kanye song?
Well, it's a multi-layered meme.
I see. I'm not smart enough to get it.
No, I'm just great.
Then
I think it is a Kanye song.
the one that goes wah. Yeah. Okay. Praise the Lord. Do you guys ever play Peak? Good game. I was very rude in Peak because we played a run, me, AB, and our flatmate, and one friend of ours, Hjalti, and we got to the top.
Oh, sorry, it's a combination of the Wicked song and Kanye.
Oh,
It's like
that's the one. Yeah. It is a mashup. Yeah, we got to the peak, and it was just the boys who got to the peak, and then once we'd done it, we didn't really want to play it again. So poor AB has never been to the peak, for which she has never forgiven me.
It's true.
So right now I'm just sort of plopping down this based on what our other map looked like. And I feel like it's taking shape. I feel like we're getting a prettier version of the thing that we already had. And I like it. I like it a lot. Go find those conifers again. What goes here? Just more trees? That looks wrong. Let's get another bulky tile in it. Here we go. Bog. I've lost all sense of what button does what. And I'm now at the mercy of the hotkeys. There we go. Now let's go move over to here. These are really cool. Dungeondraft has a hex editor. There's a mod. Check the mod. Are you on socials or just on YouTube? I've run out of Mystic Arts content to consume. I am on Blue Sky, but I don't really use it, I'll be honest. But if you want more Mystic Arts content, you can go check out our Patreon, which has a bunch of bonus videos, including Dadi's Diaries, which there are hours of content of me running through stories and showing you my prep notes for how I prep my campaign, talking about what happened during each session. There's also Game Tales, where I sit down with my players, like AB, and we all go talk about previous campaigns we've run and tell stories from those games, talking about my setting and how those stories all connect. Bump the mic. How those stories all connect together. So watching Game Tales and watching Dadi's Diaries, you'll get a really good idea of what my world is like and what kind of games I run. And if that's not enough, if you're like, man, I wish you had an actual play, did you know? I'm working on it. But the first 5 episodes are up now in early access up on the Patreon for the Expert and Journeyman tiers, which get early access to these episodes before they're done editing, because eventually we'll edit them and we'll put them up on YouTube. So if you just want to wait, you can. If you just want Dadi's Diaries and Game Tales, it's on the Apprentice tier. And if you're an Adept or a Journeyman, you get everything on the Adept tier, on the Apprentice tier. If you're an Adept or Journeyman, you get everything on the Apprentice tier. And Adepts also get access to our premier digital magazine, the Broadsheet, which is a 40, 50, 60 page monthly magazine, which has 3 chapters. The first one is a modular adventure you can run tonight. The second one is a Burrow Gazetteer with up to 12 plot hooks per issue, which create these sort of 5-room dungeons that you can go make yourself using the plot hooks from the adventure, tying them into my setting. And a third chapter either focused on lore, like what is Blackguard, what is Atroxia, what is my setting, and in later issues, it's player options. There are new subclasses, species, and backgrounds. Thank you for asking. There is a whole bunch more Mystic Arts content to consume. Just because you've watched all the YouTube videos, you have still barely scratched the surface. There are so many more content hours, he said, like an influencer, that are available on the Patreon. What software do I use for bookkeeping? Screw you. All right, let's get back to work. Here we go. Now let's take a look at the other side. And that tweet. Look at the fucking blinking lights here of the... This forest looks nowhere near as interesting as the other forest, because there's a bunch of different areas in it. So we should add a different area. That's what we should do. I'm going to add a sort of hilly section here in the middle. It'll increase visibility in the sort of main play area, which is just going to be fun when you're playing through it. We're going to grab a couple of fairly empty looking tiles and just start chucking them down. Wasn't there just a Salt Bay dash of shrubbery tile here somewhere? Let's see. These are... I'm not... Normally I find things, but not this day. Am I blind? Probably scrolled past it 50 times. And somewhere there is a person in chat screaming at their television. They watch me on the television. And they're going, Daði, it's not that hard. Slow down. Look with your eyeballs. I did it. I looked with my eyeballs. I see with my special eyes. Here we go. And then let's grab a couple of more sort of hilly bits. Ain't that better? Ain't that just way better? That's right, Georgie's got it. Yes, Piskidmore, the cheapest Patreon tier to watch the actual play is the Journeyman. You get access to the whole backlog, so you could go for a month on Journeyman, cancel it immediately, and then you've got a month to catch up on the actual play. You could even, if you want to save money, you could wait until we put all the episodes out on Patreon, but not on YouTube. Go on the Journeyman tier for 1 month. Go watch everything. Hell, if you just want access to the broadsheets and you don't want to become a full member, you could either buy them for the price of an Adept subscription, which gets you access to the post in case we update it in the future, which we do all the time. People spot errors or we want to add content to them. We add some pages in, we push a new update, then anyone who bought it can just download it again. But if you want to just quickly get access to the whole backlog, you can become an Adept or even an Expert. Cancel it and just download everything. That's allowed, folks. I can't stop you. We designed it so that it does that. We think it's brilliant. Fantastic. Okay, so we are going to also have to add some more tiles just for the outside of this area. But once we've done that, we've sort of got our area here surrounding all this down. So I'm just sort of gonna drop these little assets here and there. Somebody asked earlier about like experience from game dev that carries over. Here's one. Asset variety. Now in game dev you can also rotate things in 3 dimensions, which can be very useful. But this will have to do for us. What you can do is you can just sort of spread one kind of asset, then grab another asset, and you spread that one in a different area than you're spreading it elsewhere. And quickly, it doesn't look as chaotic. I remember doing this for echoes for a certain level. You'd have like a rock, and if you have like 50 different rocks, the memory gets massive. So to optimize, you just grab one rock, and you rotate it, and you put it in the ground. And then obviously, if you put it halfway in the ground, then you've never used the underside. So you got one shape there, one shape there, one shape this way. And that one rock looks like a bunch of different rocks. Now, when done badly, it doesn't look like a bunch of different rocks. But when done goodly, tricks you. Tricks you good. Yes, it is a currency thing, Georgie. We set them in euros because we are Icelanderic. Sorry, I thought I forget the scene transition. Yeah, we use euros, so we set them in that. So it's hang on. This is captured in dollars because most of our audience is in dollar land. But we set them in euros. So I think it's the Adept tier is I think a 10 euro tier. Which means that, oddly enough, through no control of our own, for some folks the price may have gone up because I think if you subscribed in the past and just have been subscribed, you're paying the same because it doesn't change. But if you cancel and then resubscribe, your rate might go up because currencies have changed since we started this. Whoa, Porto, hello. Hi Daði, I'm starting a campaign about real people stuck in a game with mortal stakes using XP leveling, custom systems for skill progression, item creation, loot boxes. Any ideas to add a video gamey feel? Sounds like you're most of the way there. Item creation, loot boxes. Is loot boxes fun? It might be. That's their phones. Why not ISK? I don't know that that you can. I don't know. The Patreon allows you to set it in ISK. It's bonkers doing business math for this channel because we have to have a spreadsheet that converts between all the different exchange rates to try and figure out what our budget is, so that we know if we can afford to make a broadsheet or not. Add microtransactions. Actually, Portahello, you should add microtransactions. You should add DLC, and then you should have. Is there any way for you to add something that's so bugged that it's either too easy or too difficult? $12 is nothing in USD. I think it's Llama Man who always compares it to jars of mustard. He's like, it's only this many mustards, which makes sense to me. I eat a lot of mustard, so I am familiar with the mustard economy. EVE Online currency. Yeah, the currency in EVE Online is called ISK because it is an Icelandic company that makes it. Made by what used to be CCP Games. I think they just rebranded, but I can't say that I pay too much attention.
Yeah, they're Fenris Creations now.
Fenris Creations. Yeah, it doesn't roll off the tongue, really. Being honest. They just bought it back. Yeah, they did. Describe a giant exclamation mark above giving a quest NPCs. Yeah, Portahello, you can do a lot with descriptive text. I get asked all the time, like, how is it possible to run Flintlock Fantasy in D&D? And I'm like, you don't have to change that much. Like, rules-wise, very little, if anything. You add firearms in there, and it basically is done if you're doing fantasy. Like, D&D is already fantasy. You just have to bring the flintlock. It's not complicated. But in the descriptive text is where it matters. It's where people feel it. Exclamation mark over their head. You know, arrow pointing you to your next quest location. Make sure your NPCs run out of dialogue and just start repeating things. Have, when you write your town for your game, have everybody just have a line they say. Like, when you walk into the store, this guy says. And it's always the same thing. Where would you like to go? Climb in back and we'll be off. So right now, the main thing I'm doing is just sort of making it so that when I put this on a page, it won't, like, it'll look nice in a little box, you know? We're just going to sort of drop in these little hexes. We get another brush. We start dropping in that guy. As long as it's not too systemic, it should work. Then what I'll probably do is, in Photoshop, take out that brown background. Instead of filling up the entire canvas with boring hexes, I'll just take out the brown backdrop and be like, doesn't matter, you know? And then this will just sort of sklork onto the page. Right? Trinkets, odds and ends, that sort of thing. This tile is bugging me. Into space you go. Alright, so now we're going to scroll up, we're going to select all of this, we're going to lock it. Then we're going to go into our ordering, we're going to disable it. And then we're going to start adding our little doodads. Ultimately, this is just playing with stickers. Yeah. Yeah, isn't it just? Underrated hobbies, stickers. Amy did like scrapbooking for her Kingmaker character. It looks great. Do these rotate nicely? Maybe they did if I had a different town icon. I thought that one was fairly representative, but it doesn't have a road going like up through it. But I don't know that any of them do, so maybe I just have to live with that. Like this. These are great. I wish I was doing something more intricate than what I'm doing. Because ultimately this is just a bunch of straight lines, and it's not exactly the most interesting thing. The little road that cuts through. So I know that I need... Actually, I am going to delete that skull. Or just unlock it, move it up here, because that's going to be the giant's corpse. Then I need something for the orcs. Orc camp. You know, there's a little tent guy. Also a little tower thing. They're like pins. Oh, these are fun. Like a little... Whoa, that's cool. Maybe that's what I do for the points of interest. Well, here's the mine. No, not the... Yeah, wait, where was the mine? Here's the mine. So I think I should put these little gubbits in here. Right? We want the snapping on or off? I think the pins stand out more. Yeah, I agree. You know. Whoa. Thanks, Paul. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that, Paul. Do Kayim to remove the brown background. Go to terrain layer and disable it. Very cool. Thanks. Yeah, I think I agree with the pins, because it is definitely a concern that they won't sort of stick out. I don't know that I want different icons on the pins, because there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because then there are these, but I think they also blend in a lot. But then there are these flags. Because I will have to take these in and, like, put them into Photoshop and put text on them. You know, I'll have to do a little bit of that. That's straight forest edges. Yes. The thing is, we'd have to sort of... I'll see what I can do about it once I bring this into Photoshop. So I think the thing I just want to do is I want to say, like, red pin is a dungeon. Ideally, I don't have it snapping to a grid. Because then if I just put down everything, and then just red pin is a dungeon, blue thing is something else, right, is the point of interest. Or maybe, you know, the other way around. Anyway, hang on, what was I doing? I got distracted. Giant's corpse. Red rocks. Berry spring. Berry spring. Logging site. Rat home. I need rot wall. Need the many teeth tribe. this, and then I'm gonna put. Oh, there's like a dog thing. We'll put that for the Many Teeth Tribe logging site, and then I need red rocks, metal rot. Yeah, the hag. She lives here. And then let's go over to the other side. There is the Gentle Grove. I don't know. What are we gonna do that with? Yep, that's fun. Owlbear's nest. That goes all the way down there. Hammerlane, that's a fine icon for it. Naiad's Rest. Let's get that little puddle thing going again. Wait, Naiad's Rest is closer to like here. Those little ruin layover, or just a tent. Yeah. Brewing cabin. Need to put a big tower for Canopy's Breach. Big, huge tower. Ooh, red tower. Yes. Very cool. Library. Alright, now I kind of hate that library icon. No. Can I put something on top of it? Hide it underneath. No one will know except me and the viewers. And they're not going to tell anybody. Are you? Let's see. Tower's fine. I can live with it. Sticky puddle goes above. Let's put it there. Rick's Lair. Let's put a little cave icon. What else we got? Spider's Lair. Giant eagle nest. We're gonna go grab one of those padfoot things. Right here. Grimroot. There was a bunch of trees earlier. I wonder if we can get like an especially big, tall, scary tree. Scary tree. Let's see. Yes. Alright. Brewing cabin. Lone Mirror. Lone Mirror, we're going to want to get a little water, little lake thing going. Little lake boy. Here we go. Let's put it right here. Yeah, sure. Why not? Alright, then let's get these icons, and they're gonna. Ooh. They're going to be our dungeon indicator icon. Or we just do that in Photoshop. These pins. Because in Photoshop, I could just put a font here that says Amberley. I think that's what I want. I think I made up my mind. I think that's what I want. Okay, so let me figure out how to save and export this. I'm actually going to close it in case I open up a whole bunch of spoilers. Save as. Yeah, we're going to save the map to begin with. Range map size. Export. Grid on PNG. Lighting on, brightness on. Yeah. Export. So it just comes up like this. Dillhorn. And it starts, whoa, it starts whizzing around. Taking like a bunch of little pictures, I assume. That big old tree would look better. Yeah, you're probably right, actually. Ooh. Okay. Let's see if we can change just Grimroot. Actually, can we just put it here? I kind of hate how this looks everywhere. And I don't have another place to put this. Also, I kind of want to do something extra for Naiad's Rest. This is a classic for me. I often hit export a little bit too soon. I'm a little gung-ho. Is there a way to not snap the grid? I'm certain somebody's already told me. Yeah, that's a good shout. I mean, these still wouldn't look terribly great. I do like it on these, though, I think. No, I don't. Nah. Kill it. Kill it all. Kill all of it. White. No, the red rocks. Hang on, no, the red rocks. Yeah. This one in blue, though, would be good. Yeah, that's better. Why? Rotate it less. Snap. Yes. Now it doesn't bug me. Okay. Let's try that one more time. Export. Dillhorn. 1,000,000 photographs. I think that's gonna be it. We've made a whole map here. I'm gonna go bring it into Photoshop. That part's real boring. I'm gonna take a font. Probably I think it's called black letter. I'm gonna make it white. I'm gonna put a black drop shadow on it. I'm gonna type up all the location names. And I'm probably gonna do some typos, and then Magnus is gonna point them out to me. And then that'll be that. Oh yeah, that looks great. Ain't that just fantastic? Well, everybody, thanks so much for joining us, and thank for all the help. I'm so glad I did this live. I was fumbling around in this thing for quite a while, and I was like, you know, I should ask chat about this. I'm certain everybody in chat knows more than me. What do I say? And that's where we'll pick it up next time. Thanks so much for watching this video. This channel is run by me and my girlfriend. And if you want to support us directly, come check out our Patreon and get our digital magazine, The Broadsheet. Go pick up an adventure, a burrow. You can go pick up the firearm rules, a new class, the Warlord. You can pick up the Arcane Forge, where you can make magic items. And you can, what else? You can watch our actual play that's in production. You can watch Daði's Diaries, a new video series, and Game Tales, a new video series. You can come join our Discord, and you can get our monthly newsletter, which actually I think I'm overdue for one this month. And by the end of the month, there's going to be the Crown of the Fungal Queen, where this hex map that we just made is going to show up as the foundation for the adventure that we have been making over the last 6 months here over the course of, I think, now 11 streams. But that's going to be it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the support. And if you're feeling especially generous, go like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when we release new videos. And until next time, keep studying the mystic arts.